People are asking about my SSI, and it just got from the mail, respectfully. And it says that I had to change my phone number again because 1 year ago I start having my newer and newer phone number just because the previous phone number that I have was being declined. Sadly, it just kept on getting changed and changed because I could not call and inside, possibly outside at all, because sometimes I even don't have Wi-Fi connection. Sometimes whenever I go out on this phone, it just adds up very strange and totally not that safe. If anyone doesn't know what SSI stands for, it means like it just randomly changes your phone number and changes everything. Maybe like if you want a new phone, all you gotta do is maybe just buy another one in case if the previous phone has been broken or something. Maybe they would just have to identify who would call. If somebody gets lost or don't know how to identify whose person it was, maybe they just don't know if it's a stranger or anyone that could be like somewhere outside or inside. Their locations might could have been leaked because what if one person tries to understand the information that they were talking about? It wasn't actually as what it's supposed to be. Strangers are like enemies, and we don't trust any of these persons that are cyberbullying or hacking. They believe that it was a major scam, which can identify their ID qualification. What if they try to personalize everything? Maybe they have been worn out for more than just 5 years and it's not totally okay. So we just must stay away from any person that are like scammers or anything. I somehow would never ever trust anyone based on the scams for like money and stuff. I mean, what if they try to come up with a face that is totally making excuses or something like that? Maybe I shouldn't have said anything before we told this examination about everything. I know what it feels like when having a person can be not as fun as it could be. It might be a person that is kind of similar based on who you know and who you don't know. Maybe they are just different person. I could randomize whose is who. Sometimes whenever a person goes up and say, "Hey, who are you?" and they would not answer or respond to their question and they would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, it is undeniable to answer someone's personality or their character trait." What if they just try to find our address, phone numbers, ID verification, or maybe their card or money? We wouldn't want that to happen, do we? They would say, "I'm not a huge fan of scamming other people," because they're trying to be like an inclusive hacker. What if AI tries to take over the world? Would that be fun? I believe not. Most teachers are like a real person, and sometimes we can teach about everything that has been said earlier. Due to the fact Elon Musk has made tons and tons of AI for the past years. Long time ago, AI was no longer existed back then because it was thoroughly it was started during the 1900s. Sometimes Elon Musk was like 5 years old when he started working in a developmental hardware chip so that AI will come alive. But even though it still happens all across the world, now we know how music was totally translated into each of their own data. Most cellular phones could even understand that using an app would have AI Gemini. These apps will help identify which message has the right key. They can personalize or finance your data. Nobody knew what to expect because what if they try to leak it right away? It can lead to a false scam. Perhaps it's not everything that has been gone into one single data that can lead or take anything across the universe, right? The whole entire world has been s- squatted into this personal data issue, which could translate everything. Because most of the time, robots were being used like robots were like everywhere. They just have to find a place that has a machine that can use for AI stuff. And maybe they would use a technology or voice message to use whenever they start using AI. But sometimes we can understand how AI was being used for games as well. Let's say whenever they play Roblox, right? And they use AI or maybe use voices on everything. Now they use like a certain voice. So, sometimes whenever they start playing Roblox, um, people can experience a lot more games. Like for example, if they use a Roblox chat and they would experience SSI. So if you don't know what SSI means, it means that people can change phone numbers or maybe use different Wi-Fi from that new phone. But basically, whenever you bring up a newer and newer phones to each person that they have are like a gift, and you might know what it is. But sometimes we can experience stuff like whenever they transfer everything onto that one new device. And it's personally understandable what it really means. So that's what SSI really affects. It can translate to the whole entire thing. You might know what experience are like, and it might different or compare about truthfully and hopefully, but I can really relate into everything that has been told by one of the generation features that would been used for like most of its time. I literally got this package since like today after I got off the bus, and there was that package saying, "Oh wait, there's a letter saying it comes from the SSI program, or maybe like from the mail that has been sent. Like it was delivered since like 12 p.m. or 10 a.m. I didn't know it was on the front entrance the whole entire time. So as soon as I see it, I didn't even get a chance to pick it up because it was being kept outside for a very long time. I, randomly, I just randomly stepped on it and somehow it was still in there. It's called Social Security. People are asking about their phone numbers, their ID, their date of birth, and everything that would be applied for this process whenever they start using devices. Now, people can experience about everything that has been said. So, let's say if you want to change your phone number, they would need to have it verified before your new phone number has been sent through. And it was been told randomly. But now we know what it feels like when having a newer and newer phone number through each and every single of their phones. Like, you might need to understand what it feels like and how we can understand what it does and what you know about this type of fundraise that has been said for about everything. Now, there are some big changes coming up. Let's say if there were like over $2,000 of the Social Security update. Like, let's say that some of the numbers were like being represented or deposited about $3,000, and it might just automatically refunded through one of the programs or the company that has been stated across the whole entire globe of the states that we live for more than just a future generation that holds. Laser, good to see you. And hello to every single non-moderators or moderators that are here. So, as you can see from the title of this live stream, we're talking about Social Security. Like, speaking of the phone number that we've been talking about, right? Has anyone understand what your Social Security number was? And you might say that it was a personal information about something that you might need to understand about. Parents don't allow students to use their phone whenever they try to call someone unless they're outside or inside. So what they do is they need to identify who you are and what you can really experience about. And sometimes we can understand which person you can trust or cannot trust. I know it is really confusing to some of you, but if you want to go back to what I said at this part of the stream, you can just rewind it. But don't worry, I'm here to give a full explanation about it so that you won't get a little bit of a hesitation or confusion. Now you know what it feels like about experiencing a lot more personal or in- internet safety or data that can be gone over through their sponsors and many other companies that were being held at, the likelihood of which can be representable and undeniable. The oldest fleet ever of this train in New York City was called the Parade of Trains. The New York Transit Museum of this train was 120 years old, which is kind of similar older than the 101-year-old train. Basically, you can experience that museum anywhere in the world. You can identify the part of the train that you really like to experience. Most of it were being designed by a well-known company and an executive producer. His name was Jerry Collins. He is a pro designer that makes a bunch of newer and newer designs for each train that was accompanied since 1990s. Even though this information could talk about everything that has been told through that one story we've just been learning about. For most students that are younger, it really adds up into its own maximum. What if we don't know how we can relate into one single issue? Maybe it has gone up over 10 million times, which were really understandable and quite frequently a lot more than ever experienced before. You might heard of Elvis Presley, right? He is a musician. By the time he was 18, he started making his own music content. But even though he passed away at the age of 42, he still have his own legacy by having our fans and our leadership just to honor him through his wonderful music of talent that has been on stage for more than 10 years. She was part of the family of Elvis Presley. A long time ago, she was graduated at a school that is closer nearby. She met up with tons and tons of friends. There was that one singular and number of friends that she has been met. Although when she was a adult, she graduated each of the university that she went to. No matter which person we can identify, the more ideally part, which is very non-existent. Most girls would even have to talk with boys. It can be a different gender, different personal qualities, and within all that, there is a lifetime story we can know about each other. Basically, when we are new, we can say something nice about them. We can just be mean online because it is really unacceptable. It can be a lot more like a hazardous meaningful thought when it comes to bullying other people that are in person. And basically, when we are inside or outside of home, like if we start taking online classes and everybody start trying to type up mean messages, then that would lead into a situation where now they had to talk with the pioneers, aka the the Hall of Programmers and many other counselors that were being told by each student. And I really have to stand up for ourselves because friends are friends. Sometimes if they were like being mean to you or not really trying to disobey or hurt your feelings, maybe they wouldn't just get a chance to know you. Maybe like if they were trying to harass each other, then don't try to harass anybody. Be true and loyal. Always say something thoughtful into your mind. Whenever you start getting ready to bully each other, don't do that. You can just tell anyone in each school saying that a person was being accused by many other friends too. Sometimes we can relate hard feelings as well. In our disappointment, there's no way of going back. there might be a less opportunity than just having a random fight towards the people that we know. The more aggressive people gets, the more hurtful things we say to all of us. When we are not in a state and you might just want to feel something in your heart, like if there is something below on your mind or on your chest, you can please yourself by saying something that is close to you. Draw faith in them. Be everything that you have assertive. No matter what you can step in, it's the part of the outtake. Try your best. Educate yourself. Never forget anything that can be consistent through your life. Always breathe in and out. It's okay to be sad. Just teach anything that you can suggest. Moreover, when we learn and face each other by showing how you can treat them nicely, always never have to be a bully. Because if we are a bully, no one could be your friend. They think that it's a total miscommunication and unthoughtfulness. When we made cognitive feelings against the people that you might face, it's like kind of similar to a debate, but not our debate though, the presidential one. But what if we argue about something that is not related to a topic? Then how can anyone experience with that experience and faith that can lose their track of time? There's no certain progress that they have made. But in the court, we can rely into our system. The more we give details to our government, the more safety hazard it it's ways of its own made through the US. The consistent battle between World War One and World War Three. It's been attacking for more than 8 years. George Washington was the first president, but sadly he passed away. His only true love was cherry trees. He doesn't know how to get it. The simple ally was a person that can really help. He's very strong, but don't know how to cooperate with many things that he really cannot get in his future life. When he was a student, he can participate in his own class. He studied about becoming as a president, learning new things in working as a government, and how to handle life crisis. Their own duties might need to work hard. Every single person that has been living through this horrendous and tragic moments that has gone led up to their own society. The war might end up happening and drawing close to everything that has been pleased. There is no other satisfaction that was happening to every single part of this world. We can relate or regurgitate every single problem that has been taken up against that. No matter how AI was being taken all across New York, California, Boston, Massachusetts, Kenya, Mongolia, France, Portugal. The whole entire place will be covered with a bunch of AI generated species with no more than a certain amount of a person that is talking if they have a certain amount of machines that most people have since back then. Their lives would totally destroyed and it might be somehow regurgitate on their own perspective. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, I don't know who's calling me, but I'm sorry. Give me 3 minutes. Anyways, I'm back. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on right now. There's a cellular phone that was being ringing across the whole entire TV desk. Just ignore it from now on. Okay, let's see. What's happening on Sunday? It is Flag Day, which means that we honor all American freedom. And whenever our soldiers come up here, just to understand how the US flag has been put into its own pole, it made it go up and down. That way we can identify who's leading up the program. Whenever we start singing the national anthem, it rises up to the top. When a person was deaf, the flag lowers to the middle, which means it doesn't stop all the way to the bottom. It just leaves it halfway. People would be upset if they were able to make people die, and unless that they have 2 more years. I really don't like how people were being at the age of 99 or even over 100 years old because they were older than ever before. They don't have to identify which wheelchair many older people were taking a ride on. They use a cane, like a long stick, just to make sure a person was able to walk perfectly. If not, they might end up falling and getting sent to the hospital until the recovery begins. It is not okay for a person to be deaf. When we lose our ability to lose voices or anything, it's not fun. People can understand what it feels like being harsh. Did you know FIFA World Cup was folded into every single event? In most countries, we can identify that Mexico is already winning, led up by 2 points, and the other team got none, which is simply over for every single state or country that they just live. This is why we need to take their time separately. Sorry again. Have to use the bathroom. Sorry, this is not what I've been doing. Just ignore the voice and ignore the sound of this. should I go live upstairs? Because it's kinda hot out here. Actually, I'm not in the living room. I'm in the bathroom. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Well, you know what? I might be able to not live tomorrow. Because I might have somebody to go along with me. But actually, I might have to leave to go home at 4:30, and I'll be able to recommend on streaming and, of course, everything. Okay, to those people that are new, do you know what SSI stand for? Social Security Insurance. That means if a person was talking about the number of your social security, that means they had to translate your new phone number, your previous number to the newer one. Because if you're able to call a person outside, that means you need to switch out the odd number that you were calling on the previous one. So now we know. I got the report from the weather service saying that there is a life crisis going on. And people might experience the rain due to the outcasts in New York City, and it has gone crazy. But anyways, I'm doing. What the? But anyways, I'm ending. So peace out. See you on the next stream.